Dirt Drive Podcast. As always, I'm Trevor. Today, we've got a little switch up for you, just to confuse you a little bit. We've got our buddy Tom Walk here.
Hello, how you guys doing?
As well as Tim is back today.
Not the king of anything, apparently.
No, never.
Never.
So today, we're just going to kind of go a little off the cuff. The three of us first met at an off-roading event, and that's kind of how all this started. So we're going to go into kind of that story.
Yeah, we're actually celebrating the 5-year anniversary of that event this week, and it's going to be a few weeks late because this isn't going to come out till like the middle of July.
Yep.
But yeah, we met at Big Dog's. Is it Spring Fling? Is that what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big Dog Spring Fling 5 years ago. I was driving my.
And it's been downhill ever since.
I was driving my.
It seemed like it was 5 years.
I know,
ago.
it seems like it was just yesterday. And I always get the first few events in my truck mixed up because did we do 2 or 3 events in my truck?
Which one did I get stuck behind 4?
I think you did 3. I think you did 3 total in the truck. The one where we got stuck behind 4, that was
the very first one with Greg.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the first time, yes, but then whenever I was just dumb.
that was
the third time with you.
I didn't have my truck. I think I had my.
No, you had your truck because you got it stuck in a
That's
tree.
right. That's when the Horvats came. We had Julius there, and he was super anxious riding with you.
Yes, he was.
Because then it was just me.
Lovely.
It was just me, Tom, and Julius trying to get Tom's Jeep out.
Yeah, because we told you not to go back there. You went back there, and we're like, it's up to you. If you get in there, you got to get yourself out. You ended up scaling like 25 feet into a tree to winch yourself up.
Yeah. It's called sketchy winching. We'll talk about that later.
Nice. Where'd you learn that? That wasn't fire rescue, was it?
That was from hanging out with you for too long.
There you go. Perfect. I love sketchy winching.
But the first trip was a good one. Spring Fling. What was it? 2018? 2017?
2017, yeah. Because I got my Jeep in 2016.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got mine at the tail end of 2016. I think it was like September or October. And then that was the first one, and we were all in Lisa's line the first half of the day, and that's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we met first thing. Well, Tim and I met first thing because my dog, and
I had the firefighter sticker on the back of my truck.
It was actually on your hat that I saw. Was
it?
So I work for a local large county fire department, and my entire life has been around fire rescue stuff. So my dog, who's a 110-pound Anatolian Shepherd that thinks he's a lap dog. Yeah, he's only 110.
He's a fat boy.
He is a chunk.
Yeah, because Odin is 80.
Well, yeah, Odin is all muscle though.
Yeah, Max is thick.
Max is a thick with 3 C's boy who still tries to run like a puppy, and it's very funny. Everything jiggles.
It rolls.
TikTok references. TikTok sponsor us.
No, it's send the check.
Send the check. Whatever. I'll figure it out eventually.
Send the check.
So I let Max just do his own thing, and he likes people more than other dogs. So he ran up to the group that was at the front of the line in front of this very compensating red pickup truck.
Which was straight as an arrow at that trip, the beginning of that trip.
Yeah, it was straight as an arrow on a 6-inch lift until we broke the first tie rod. Was it?
None of this we stuff. We didn't do anything.
And this is a good time for a drink.
Yep.
But yeah, no, because that was the first one you broke was at the playground.
Like within the first hour.
Yeah, because Lisa took the entire group there because that was kind of her standard procedure at the time.
Yeah,
anytime she had anyone who had never been off-roading, anything like that, she would guide the 1 through 3 beginner groups. And she would always take them to the playground because the playground had some nice, steep, angled, little drop-offs, but they weren't too long, so you could kind of get used to
her gatekeeper for beginners to gauge their level of skill.
So it was also that, but it was also to get them used to the feeling of your Jeep leaning forward, leaning sideways.
I feel like we need to kind of put a preference on who Lisa is. Lisa is the definition of off-road mom.
Yes.
Yes.
She enjoys the camping and hanging out and doing stupid things with us and shakes her head at us a lot.
Yeah, she actually doesn't Jeep as much anymore now that she owns.
Now that
she's also the owner of Big Dogs Off-Road.
Yeah.
That changed.
Well, according to her, she was never really about the off-roading. She just kind of enjoyed the atmosphere and stuff. Like she enjoys the off-roading part of it, but she's just as happy to kind of sit at camp and use her blender hooked up in her trailer to make margaritas and just hang out all day. So
she's
Lisa, we love you.
She's a people person.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's all.
If she likes you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if she likes you. So that what she would always lead, her and her husband would always lead the 1 to 3s, are the beginners, the stock Jeeps, the people that wanted to take their mall crawler and get it a little dirty.
Yep.
And so we never really that first morning with her. We, like you guys said, we went to the playground. Tim broke. Because he did stupid things.
I bounced
He
with
bounced going up one of the hills.
You didn't. No, you broke on the way to the playground.
No, I
No,
broke
no, no,
on
no.
the playground.
He went up. The playground's kind of oval shaped, and you've got that one hill that's got the massive rock on
To the
it.
right.
on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
It's got rocks on both sides.
Yeah, so he tried to go up the hill where most people normally come down, and he bounced and came down and just absolutely obliterated
I
his
think
tie
I
rod.
hit the rock as I
you-
bounced.
yeah.
it down.
That is right.
and
that's where
both
Trevor-
of his tires turned inward, and it looked like his truck had to pee really bad.
Yep.
And
That's where Trevor learned to hate independent front suspension.
not really.
It helped. It definitely helped.
It definitely didn't help the situation for sure, but that just kind of proves the
But then that's where I got to know you and Woody, because Woody took me into Winchester to go get new
correct
parts.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
was a huge save. And then we ended up getting back. I think someone else in like a white Ford drove me up there to fix it.
Yep.
I can't remember who it was. They had like a CJ buggy. And then we came to your camp and drank beer and hung out that night.
Well, that
all of
was,
us.
but let's not forget the second half of that day. We ended up with Greg
Greg.
Browning,
Yes.
who is now a very good friend of ours.
Greg.
But man, we were not happy with Greg that day.
We're still not happy with
like
Greg
it
from
got
that
to the
day.
point. I think we went and complained to Lisa because he took us through stuff that stock Jeeps should not have been going through.
Yeah.
So just for preference, right? So Trevor and I
Or
at the time-
reference, whichever.
Stock Jeeps.
reference, whatever. We both have JK
Stock JKs.
Stock JKUs. I
At the
think
time,
I had
yeah.
a front bumper and a winch. That was all
Correct.
I had
Yep.
upgraded.
I didn't have anything. I was completely stock.
And then we ended up on an ATV trail after it had rained for like a week.
Yep.
Or something like that. So like Max loved it, the dog,
Yeah.
because he was covered in mud and I was
That's
very
his
it was
favorite.
like-
That's his favorite state of being.
Yeah.
It was like
Yes,
300 yards of thick mud.
I winched myself 80
Not to
feet.
mention the entire ATV rock garden before that,
Yes.
which none of us truly fit down.
Oh my gosh. No.
So this is the one that is actually it's Bobby Nines in the picture, but the background of the Facebook and Instagram page, like the whatever it's called, I guess it's the background or the profile, not the profile picture. You know what I'm saying? Is on
banner?
that trail. The banner is on that trail, and that's Bobby Nines stuck.
Yep.
In one of the holes that we were in, and it took him about 45 minutes to winch out
Well,
from
that's
that one
That's
hole.
why nobody goes behind. Camp
they wanted
4
mud.
anymore. That's why nobody goes behind Camp 4 anymore because that place is absolutely treacherous.
Unless you want mud and want to get stuck. If you want to
Yeah,
get
but
stuck, go
there's,
for it.
There's better mud places. The biggest issue behind Camp 4 is because the ruts are so steep
Yep.
and short that if you get stuck, there's really no getting out unless someone pulls you out.
Yeah, I
and
got
even
through-
then, it's a struggle because by the time you get pulled one direction, you're falling into another rut.
Yeah.
And you can't get any traction.
I got through most of the way when we were with when I was with the Baltimore boys last time.
He winched his way through
well,
that
yeah,
first trip
but then I got
and burned your winch out.
It was
Yeah.
Mackenzie and I in the Jeep, and we were sitting at like a 45-degree angle, and I just knew, I'm like, there's no other way out of here. So I got out, pulled cable, and I was out in like another 5 minutes. The guys were so far stuck behind me that they thought I was able to drive all the way through, and like 3 of them followed my line. I'm like, no, don't do
no,
that.
don't do that.
Especially because you don't have winches.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've discovered that following your line sometimes, and you end up almost sideways, up by the reservoir.
Tim shouldn't follow his own line.
Yeah.
Is really the way it
Well,
should
it's
be
because
put.
I like to have fun, and we like to party. Hi, my name's Rod, and I like to party.
But yeah, that was
Man.
it was a solid first day.
Well, and who were you? Did you just go up by yourself? Or,
I was just there by myself with Max.
and you ended up camping with me and the girl I was dating at the
Yeah,
time.
so I got there. Lineup was at 8.
Because remember, you were going to go home at the end of that day.
No, I brought stuff to camp.
yeah, but you were going to go home.
You were
that
going to
day.
go home
Yeah,
because
I
you came
should've.
back and you were like, oh, I was planning on going home, but I'm having a lot of fun. Hold on, let me call my boss real quick. And you told your boss
called
that
in
you
sick.
were
Did I?
sick.
Yeah, was I at the ambulance company at that point?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, and he
The-
said,
the
I know
ambulance
you've been
company that doesn't exist
off-roading.
anymore.
Oh, they're gone?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize they were gone.
they got bought out.
Well, I know they got bought out, but I've also seen like 5 or 6 other ambulance companies pop up with people from that company.
I've still seen their
Well,
rigs on
so
the
they're
road.
bought out, but they don't.
They probably still operate under the same name.
Not really. They
No?
they
Yeah.
all they operate under the 3-letter name, but they instead of repainting their trucks for no reason, they
Well, it's such a generic statement too.
yeah.
You know. But
yeah, so I mean, I called that out of that job. I called out one time at that job because I was at the beach and I didn't want to go to work the next day. I was on a recorded line, and that recording got passed around to everyone, and everyone's like, "Hey, what's up, beach boy?" Because I was literally on the beach I went down to Virginia Beach for an interview, and I was like, "It's so nice." It was like an 80-degree day. The next day was gonna be 80 degrees, so I should have called his personal cell phone because I had it, but I called the recorded line. I'm like, "Hey, what's up? I'm calling out sick tomorrow." Like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, it's 80 degrees at the beach and I don't want to come into work. Good times at the ambulance company. But I forgot I called out that day.
Yeah. So you guys were gonna leave, and because I was alone and I knew no one, I met you guys in our little cove at Camp 6.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yep.
"Oh wait, you actually came?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I didn't expect you
I
to come
didn't
camp
know
with us.
anyone. Because I decided Friday morning that I was going to that Saturday night.
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
Well, I think it was the weekend before I went to Cars and Coffee down in Chantilly, and that's where I met Wally. And it was the weekend before when I decided to go.
Yeah. So it was just.
I think
all-
Trevor's the only one that had like. Did you actually have an idea you were going like a month or two in advance?
Yeah, about a month, because I had just gotten the Jeep, and I was thinking about, putting lift and tires as you do, and Woody was the one who was like, no, take it out stock. You'll be amazed what it can do.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's
Does he
actually
still have
an
this Jeep.
Yep.
That's good.
But he was kind of the one that was like, there's an event coming up. Do you like camping? And I was like, absolutely. He's like, all right, cool. We'll go camp. It's a 2-3 day event. We'll go off road. It'll be a lot of fun. Blah blah blah. Sure enough,
Yeah,
there it was.
Changed the course of your life. It changed the course of all of our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah, and
Well-
it was yeah.
And then we got to kind of hit on the other important thing that happened that weekend, right? So we.
No.
What? we
That's why
started,
Trevor's the asshole.
we became friends with Lisa, right? So
Really good friends with Lisa
we-
and Chris.
and
Yeah.
then the owner of Big Dogs at the time has a ton of medical issues. Somehow she figured out that you and I were fire department, EMS, or whatever.
Probably because all of the badging on the back of our Jeeps, hats, everything. We were like
most likely.
the whacker boys.
And
at
you
the
kept
time.
pulling out all of your fire equipment every time
Is
we
that
got
the trip that
stuck.
you-
And we should probably
No, but
edit that out because I'm not supposed to be doing that there, Timothy.
That's fine.
No, but that is the trip where he kept pulling out his Halligan bar.
No, he has the
I have the
Halligan. I don't
Halligan.
have
Oh,
a
that's
Halligan.
that's
I'm not that bad of a whacker. Tim is.
I am. I do have a Halligan bar.
Do we need to open your Jeep up and pull out all of the tactical gear that's
None
in
of
there?
none of us drove our Jeeps today because Jeeps
because of gas prices.
gas prices. Jeeps are not good daily drivers.
Yeah.
Love you, Jeep, but improve your vehicle.
Well, it would get decent gas mileage if we didn't do stupid things.
I was gonna say it has everything to do with what you did to the vehicle.
But so
Jeep, send the check.
anyway,
We hate you. Send the check.
so the owner at the time was having a diabetic issue or something like that, and she came back to Camp 6 screaming.
Lisa did.
Yeah.
to come and get us, and we checked him out. He was fine. He needed a candy bar or some shit. I
Yeah.
don't remember. And she's like, "Okay, you're now my best friends." And we, over the last 5 years, have become
It's Dirt Nerds Fire Rescue.
Dirt Nerds
much.
off-
Yeah,
like-
Yeah.
like,
Dirt Nerds
so-
Off-Road Rescue.
Yeah, so there's been events where I'm not wheeling hard or anything like that, and Lisa's like, "Hey, I need you to go on this trail that you're not ready to do and go get this person." I'm like, "All right, hold my beer."
Sure.
And we'd go and do it. And like the one day we did, what was that? What was the trail that Joy got stuck with that random guy in the Cherokee?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
I did that
I think they were up on high road somewhere.
It was
Yeah,
off
Moose,
a
Moose
high
seems to be a
road.
popular place for people to get stuck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was either Moose or U-turn.
Because I got stuck. I got stuck bad on Moose the second trip in my truck.
It was V Trail.
Was it
No.
V-turn? No.
V-Trail's
No.
nasty. It's probably not V-Trail.
It was nothing but where Bam Bam broke his transmission.
Oh, that's Corum.
Yeah, so
Oh, no. Bam Bam broke a tie rod on Corum.
no, in the YJ with the
That was going along Corum.
was that no, that wasn't quorum.
Dude, I don't remember.
Because I refused to do quorum because of
It's
many
overrated?
reasons.
Yeah, it's overrated.
And I mean, and he yelled at us.
Oh, not Quorum. No, not Quorum. I'm
You're thinking of Trickle.
Trickle's overrated. Quorum's a great trail. I've broken twice on Quorum.
Everyone's broken on Quorum.
I
Go
love
ask
that
Wally
trail.
how many times he's broken on Quorum.
He did Quorum open
in
on
his XJ.
33s in an XJ.
In his XJ.
That's impressive.
Ask him how many times he broke his JK on Quorum.
Yes.
I forgot he had a JK.
Yeah, he had a
for
two-door.
minute. But so like now she just kind of sends us to do whatever, and it's like if something's complicated, she sends us.
Yeah, we're the go-to guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we figure stuff out, and that will come to the rescue podcast later.
Yeah, we
in the
didn't make it
series.
to this weekend's Big Dogs trip just
No.
because it didn't make sense financially with diesel being $6.50 a gallon, and then gas being $5 a gallon. I'm not going to spend that much money to go drive in circles.
It's a
in the
little
woods.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main Jambo though.
Yes, that is.
We will
the
be at
plan.
Main Jambo, maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah,
we're gonna that out yet.
We're gonna try and get to SummerSlam. That's
You guys got to get your Jeeps going first.
Yeah, I mean making
One, you got to get your Jeep going too because you just got.
Yeah, I got some stuff in to make it actually not wobble.
Yeah,
Like
it rolls.
It twerks going down at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll be out to Big Dogs in not too long, hopefully.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely main Jambo is a guarantee. The SummerSlam is the one that's a little like if we can get enough work done, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that our first trip was fun though. I constantly forget that I broke twice on the first trip and twice on the second trip for my
Yeah,
truck.
because you ended up because you laughed at yourself because you broke the first tie rod. The replacement you got was the HD tie rod.
No, notice he only went and got one replacement.
Yeah, so I
tie
went
rod.
and got one replacement.
And then the very next day, we were going up to High Road, and we were going up the ledge, and the same thing happened, and you broke the other one.
Yep.
Right in the middle of the road.
then I had to-
And that's when Tom winched to you. We strapped Tom to me, and then we strapped me to Woody and put Woody in gear so your truck wouldn't roll down the hill.
And you had an interview for Petrie.
Yes, that's right. No, that was the axle shaft. That was the next trip.
So then the second tie rod, that's not, I winched him on the mountain whenever
Correct.
Petrie was there.
Correct.
So that was the axle shaft then, not the tie rods, because he had the beefy tie rods
That
for
trip.
that
Yeah,
trip.
Oh,
And
that's right.
It's like
Yeah.
$450.
Because the first thing he said to us when we got there, he's like, "I'm not tie rod Tim anymore. These things aren't
You're
gonna
always
break."
tie rod.
They were like $450 1-ton tie rods. They were 1.5-inch solid bar.
R.I.P. Bruce.
Oof.
His truck then said, "Hold my beer. I'm gonna break something else."
But I
That's
brought
always how it
axle
works.
shafts. I brought 2 axle shafts that trip, and I broke 2.
Yeah.
And I
That's
changed
where
them
you
both.
that's where you started coming prepared with your
So
stuff.
I broke the
Yeah.
first one going up Moose with you guys, and that's where we did all the winching.
Yep.
The second one was going up Lisa's trail backwards,
Yes.
and then I drove back to camp.
because
Oh,
that's
that's
when he
right.
took out the tree.
That's
that
right.
Still is laying there to this day.
That's right. That's right.
Tim decided Lisa's trail.
Tim decided to just take down a lot of trees in his old truck.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
on purpose.
And my
either.
Cherokee,
but
but the
this one-
Cherokee's been on a little bit on purpose.
I remember the first time you went off roading with your Cherokee. It was like right after you sold the truck, you got the XJ, got it running, everything like that. We go down a trail, and you're like, I can't make it. I'm not going to make this turn. I'm not going to make. I'm like, Tim, just go. You got it. Just go. You went through like 2 trees or something like that, and you went, I made it. What? This is awesome.
Yeah, I just started giggling because it had a turning radius.
It was that, and it was about
Had a
half
turn-
as wide as your truck.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And
It wasn't
was
100.
a third as long.
Not 130-inch wheelbase. It was like what are the
you're-
Cherokees? 105.
You remember the first time we went up Lisa's trail, and you have to cut through Camp 6. You go that way to get to the front of Lisa's trail, so you go up the proper way. And
You British?
as you snake through like that little swampy area, you had to make like a 17-point turn in Bruce because it would not go around that tree trunk.
That's why we called him Austin the rest of that trip.
Yes, because he
couldn't figure out why.
literally would only move about a foot at a time and had to do a 17-point turn, and we're literally all just sat behind him because Lisa was in front of him, so she's just putting along, going up the
Yeah,
trail.
because it's got like that sharp S curve.
yeah, right
going
around that
in.
knotted up tree.
But then right at the top of the hill where everyone feels like they're going to roll, he was like, bloop, perfectly
Oh,
fine
well, yeah.
because he didn't have that.
Well, that's the
issue.
only reason he made it through behind Camp 4, too, because his wheelbase was so long, he didn't have to get winched through anything.
I think I did. Did I not have to get pulled? Was I
No,
smart
you
enough?
never
That was a
did.
good line.
You also had the when in doubt, throttle out mentality because you didn't care what
Yeah.
you hit with Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of got out of your way, and you just went, "Brrrr."
With my straight piped
Yes. With your
LS.
straight.
Yes.
The biggest redneck in Ashburn.
Oh, it was
you
so
will
much
ever
fun.
meet.
That's why I took it out though, because I joined the fire department and people ragged on me for having this nice truck, 35-inch tires, light bar. You don't four wheel the thing. You don't four wheel the thing.
And let's not forget
So-
the PA system.
I did have a PA system, so I went out once with Horvath behind, before it was posted, behind AOL in Ashburn.
We went out there too.
Yep,
Before it was posted.
And we were having a good time. It was like the middle of the night, bouncing around the woods, and he backed into me and broke my, because I had that black grill on there.
Oh, right.
Did you guys ever see that? No,
Yeah.
I don't think you guys ever saw that.
No, but you showed us pictures. Like, you
Yeah.
had pictures of it
Yeah.
from before, and
So that was
it
my-
came up like, whatever happened to that?
That was my
Oh.
first time wheeling because of my bad influences at the fire department, and then people were still giving me crap about it, so I took it to the cove. Made it 2 trips.
You remember that time? I think it was behind Camp 4. We went behind Camp 4 the wrong way, like mud, and then rock garden. Then Horvath got that like long branch stuck under his
Oh,
axle through his
yeah.
rear
Dude, that was
bumper.
so great.
Yeah.
And he edited
Sawzalled it, didn't he?
no
Chainsaw.
Oh, that's
That
right.
was before I was
He
started
was, like,
bringing
laying
all of the tools,
underneath
so I only
his
had my
Jeep.
chainsaw. He was laying under his Jeep with a chainsaw, and I was like, just don't hit your gas tank. Like,
Or your face.
and I think we ripped his
yeah,
back bumper
face I
off
could
too.
fix.
Yeah, no, that one was good.
Yeah, we ripped his back. We cut his back bumper off with the chainsaw.
We did.
Yes.
We need to get all this in the woods again. He's got a Cherokee again. Everyone has Jeeps again, except for we got to get Quist in something. He can just ride. He's too reckless to drive
he-
his own stuff.
He's got a Jeep. It's just an RC car Jeep, but
He does. I also have. Did you guys see the pictures that I posted in the group chat of my Barbie Jeep that I put on my trailer?
Yes,
Oh, it's my favorite thing.
it was great.
I did not. And I
He
will
didn't
need
have
to find
anything.
these.
He didn't have anything else to haul, so he
So-
put his Barbie Jeep on there.
So I went down 2-3 weeks ago to Roanoke to get Mackenzie a car because she's got to drive to work every day now, and she doesn't want to drive her Jeep. So on the way down to Roanoke to get the car, I put my Barbie Jeep on my trailer, full car trailer, Barbie Jeep in the middle. I got so many honks, thumbs up out the windows, like truckers were losing their minds. It was the best thing in the world.
Well, it's hilarious too because like that's become a thing where people take like little toy dump trucks and
Oh,
put it
yeah.
on their like low boy.
well, because you don't
massive trailers.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to be the guy who's
Gotta be
hauling a
entertaining.
massive trailer behind him with nothing on it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure there was one where a guy glued a Hot Wheels car to his trailer.
I would do that.
Like dead in the center.
Yep.
Just a little Hot Wheels like Tonka truck right there.
why not? Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to get all this back in the woods again, though. It's been a long
Well, yeah, we
time.
haven't, because back when we first started doing it, we would have groups of 20, 25 people.
Yeah, like
And that's
like
why we always
13,
kept
14
going.
Jeeps,
Yeah, and that's why
25
we always
people.
kept going back to Camp 6 because we had that one corner that one of us would
Flood.
show up.
That would
At-
flood like a mother.
That was our last trip there, though. Was the one that we got rained
Rain
out.
3 days straight. That was
That was
terrible.
our last trip at Camp 6, at least in that spot in Camp 6. Then we moved up.
Yeah. Well, because it turned out then, there were people that started showing up like Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're taking that spot.
It was a good spot. It was a
It was.
really good spot.
It was. We're not going to say what we did to their Jeeps, but
We didn't do anything to it. That was also, so the trip, our last trip in Camp 6 is the one trip that the guy showed up and it was like this Duramax at 2 a.m.
yep.
Wow, 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 wow.
Didn't realize we were there.
I don't know how, because we had a whole corner of the campsite. We showed up the next morning. We were like, hey, dude, what happened? He goes,
Oh, I got stuck.
I got stuck. And I'm like, you were in a campsite already. Like, you couldn't have just left it? He's like, I didn't think about it. I get that sentiment, though.
when you get so
My-
wrapped
what-
up and bound and determined to do something.
But
it's
that's
like,
the
I
thing,
don't
like what
care.
killed me is that he rolled in with his headlights on.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's no way.
Oh, he definitely saw us. He
He
was just
didn't
trying to find an
see-
excuse.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't see our tents, but man, was he bouncing his rev limiter
Are
for like
those Lego flowers?
yes.
Those are Lego
Sorry,
flowers.
ADHD moment.
There's also a Lego microbus.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't realize those were Lego flowers.
Yeah. Didn't you move them?
No.
I did.
Nice. Yeah, we do need to get all this back at the Cove, though. I can't wait to get, like,
Oh yeah.
just a trip where like, the OG group, we get
Well, because that then
Bam Bam, Walsh.
well, Bam Bam needs to have a completed Jeep before he ever comes back down again, because
does.
every time he's come down, no matter what vehicle he's brought,
It's
it
always
has
broken.
not been 100% repaired from the previous break that happened.
Well, it's been completed,
No,
but
wrong.
it's been
He built it. He put it back together with the wrong parts. Like I think he had a Dana 60 in the front of his.
like it was completed
excursion.
the night before at 2 a.m.
That's
and they
not
were leaving at
completed.
2:30,
That's not
and
completed.
it was
Yeah,
ghetto rigged.
I think he put a Dana 50 carrier in his Dana 60 of his excursion to get it back down here.
no,
for a
he
trip,
had
like the night before.
no, he had a 50 in the
Was
front.
it a 50?
But the problem was he put it together the night before.
And blew it up.
And because he did that, he was up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, because it was a 4-hour trip for them to get down from New Jersey, and they were leaving at 6 a.m.
Bam Bam, fix your junk.
You know, and that excursion was just a massive, massive hunk of crap. I mean, it had an 18,000-pound winch on the front of it because it was the
That was the
only
nicest part of the
thing
vehicle.
that could pull it.
Yeah.
Like that thing was ridiculous, and he blew the diff up the first time he brought it down. Then he rebuilt it. Then he brought it back. And that's when he caught on fire.
The first time.
Yes, the first time.
Yep. And he was driving back to camp while on fire because he blew the diff up again.
Yeah, I think it was leaking transmission
He
fluid in
blew
it.
2 or 3 of his windows out, ripped all of his light bars off up on Lisa's trail, because remember he had
he
those
rolled
3
into the tree.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
ripped his
because
light bars off.
But he didn't care, because remember he had gotten all 3 of those light bars for like 99 cents.
Yeah.
Because
And
somebody
the light bars
had
were
him.
the best, dude.
Well, no. Someone had him in their garage and just didn't want him anymore, and he literally gave them $1 for 3 50-inch light bars.
And he put them on like a rack.
Yeah,
On the sides.
On the side.
He
Like
had,
a
he had
camp
one
rack
facing
on
front,
the-
2 on the sides.
on the
I'm
top
pretty
of
sure
his
2 of them
excursion.
didn't work.
Oh, yeah. No, they definitely.
Like, I don't think he ever fully wired them up.
They were JK. They were just light bars on there with no wiring.
I take offense to that.
I wired your light bars. They're done right. I wire.
You
the one thing I
used to
do
have a problem of
Yes,
using
I
lamp
can't
wire.
I mean, I've used. Hey, outdoor residential wire says it's outdoor, right?
The one thing I do right is wiring. I don't do a lot
You were
right when it
using
comes to being a
lamp
mechanic.
wire, which Walsh to this day cringes about, because he's in the electrical field, and it makes his skin crawl.
I will say, to be fair, I've learned since working on my trailer and owning a trailer
to be fair.
that
to be
fair.
Letterkenny, send the check.
that don't sue us either. I don't know. That the trailer brake wiring through the trailer axles is also residential wiring that connects each side of the axle per the manufacturer. Tom's making hand movements and Trevor's making them back mockingly. We're going to give you a play-by-play if you're not watching. And this will be, maybe, do you like the production of this one enough to be posted to YouTube?
To be determined.
To be determined once I cut it together.
To be determined.
All right,
We'll
that's
see.
fine. It may be posted to YouTube. We do have a YouTube now, which is pretty sweet. Right now, it's just pictures, nothing too fancy.
Yeah, no. Once we have a dedicated space to do this, we'll probably start that, because that way we're not changing backgrounds every episode.
Yeah, we are getting the whole social media thing figured out though, which is really nice.
I'm working on the table a little bit more tomorrow. So,
Good.
well,
Did you get the picture that I sent you?
yes.
I can crop the background out of that.
I'm just going to. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
It's going to go on my projector onto the table, and then I'm going to trace it.
So we are building a nice studio in Tom's basement.
Tom Sylvester.
the
yeah,
other
Tom's
Tom,
the
not
other
me.
Tom.
I don't
There's a
have
lot of
I don't have a
Toms and
basement.
T's in our group. So
Yeah, we're sitting at my fiance's house, Tom.
fiance's dad's
Fiance's
house.
dad. Yes, my fiance is not
Your
Tom.
future
Fiance-
father-in-law is
Yes.
another way to put that.
My fiance's dad's house, Tom. One of our good customers' name is Tom
Fiametta.
Fiametta, and
Yep.
then
Yeah.
Tom.
Hey, Fiametta.
Tom Sylvester's
Send the check.
brother-in-law's name is Tom.
Yes.
and
There's
Tom's dad is Tom, and Tom's grandpa is Tom.
there's a lot of Toms.
We've got
Jesus
too many
Christ.
Toms.
Well, we've got a lot of Toms, and we've just got a lot of T's.
Yeah, Trevor.
Travis,
Tim.
Tom. Tom, Tom.
And on that note, I think we're way off track, and we should probably wrap this one up.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, it's been a pretty wild ride so far.
We've had a lot of fun.
It's crazy to think how a single event that was essentially a last minute thing for all of us. We just were kind of like, you know what, that sounds like fun.
Well, it shaped the
and
course
it ended
of our,
up turning into, we all met.
it
And
shaped the
then
courses of our
I
life.
came to your house a couple months later to put my lift on.
Well, no,
and
you
then-
did that at Tom's house.
No,
Tom,
we did it in your driveway.
did
Yeah.
we?
Yeah.
We did both our lifts in your driveway.
We
Yeah.
also did Quists in my driveway.
Yeah.
Nice.
So your house was the first place that was like the
first-
congregating place
The
because
first
you had
Dirtnerd Motors.
because you had
Yeah.
the compressor in your garage. So we had like
Yes.
the air tools and all that stuff.
Which we're still using at the shop. That
Correct.
compressor was bought at Lowe's.
Yeah. Well, it's almost
and-
dead. It's almost dead.
I don't know. It's still doing pretty good. it
No,
was bought
it's-
at Lowe's
it's
in like
really not.
It's doing as well as someone on hospice.
2010. That compressor is like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, which is why I say it's almost dead.
Don't
But-
throw it out because I'm going to put it in my garage when I'm done with it.
no,
I'll just put a new head
But
on it.
then the next time it was going to be a bunch of us at your house, you're like, wow, I don't have enough space for that. But my buddy Tom Sylvester from the fire department, he lives out at a place where
BFE.
he's got a massive driveway. He's got a detached garage. He's got all the same stuff I do. He's a good mechanic. So we all went and met out there. And that's how we all met Sylvester.
He didn't have a Jeep. Or he had his
and
Grand
you-
Cherokee at the time.
Yes.
And you were fashionably late as always, and we met
yeah.
Tom in a different type of manner.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That was fun.
But yeah, and then from there it really did snowball. Like everyone that we've met up to this point is just further and further extensions and branches of the same tree,
it's-
and
it's
it's
shaped-
absolutely nuts.
It shaped my life. It shaped your life. I mean, it shaped your life a little bit.
well, and
You're-
even I mean,
Yeah,
just and then continuing to go back to Big Dogs events and meeting people there, which then allowed us to go on other trips like to AOAA and Roush and have guides up there because there were people that traveled down.
Yep.
That's the beauty of the off-road overland community is when you get people that travel to those events and then all of a sudden you've got friends in other states where they're like, hey man, come out to this park and we'll guide you. We go out all the time. And then they come down here and we guide them when they're down here because we go out all the time. And
Well,
it's been nuts.
And just from a different perspective too, like I moved down here from Pittsburgh, and I knew 0 people.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And you guys were.
How long was that before your first trip that you were down here?
I moved down here September 2015.
So it was like a year and a half.
So a year and a half.
But you were busy. You were in recruit school doing all that stuff for that
recruit
time.
school, working, and I was going back to Pittsburgh every 4 days. So
Yeah.
there was no really hanging out down here, and that was actually one of the first 4 days I stayed down here was to go on that trip.
Damn.
And I mean, met you guys, and ended up having 4 out of the 5 groomsmen in my wedding were from
Yeah.
that trip.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's
Well, we're doing such a small wedding that everyone at that trip is like everyone that was on like the first 2 trips with us is like 25% of my wedding.
I mean,
So, I
Tom's was the same as
Yeah.
was Quist's.
yeah.
Like, this group makes up a very, very large chunk of every large gathering.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's because we're such a good time. I'm
And
not to toot our horn,
fun,
but
damn
toot,
it.
toot.
I mean, we have a name for ourselves now as the Dirt Nerds, and we that we'll have to go into that conversation later of how we came up with that name. But like we to the point where I knew we made it whenever someone who was trying to get kicked out name dropped us as, oh, but I know them. We
yeah,
could
that
stay.
was fun. They got
Oh,
kicked
yeah.
out of the Cove, and some other group was like, "Hey, but we're these guys." And then we got a call from the Cove, and like, "Hey, were you guys out here this week?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah.
And now they're no longer invited back to the Cove.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we are, and
That's
it's fine.
That's when I knew that we made it as a group, and that other groups know us as a very
fun time.
good time, and very good.
Well, we have our own
safe-
line at Big Dogs now because people,
even when we're not there.
yeah, and it's,
Yeah, I tried to fix that, but that message
don't
didn't get across well enough.
I don't, here's the thing.
It's
Lisa,
the concept of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lisa will use it as one of those
Like
like
a holding place.
Well, as a holding place, but it's also the idea that it may be a beginners group, but it's the beginners that are okay with if their Jeep gets a little damaged or whatever, and like they'll,
Beginners, but fun.
well, I wouldn't put it that way because like Mike,
It's all fun.
Mike does the other beginners group, but his lines are more geared towards
Mike with Appalachian Off-Road Adventure.
Yep.
Yes.
But his
Shout out
line
to
is
Appalachian Off-Road Adventure. If you haven't been four-wheeling, you live in the DMV, check it out. You go and rent a Jeep for the day.
Yep. And he will guide you,
He will guide you.
and it's awesome.
It's awesome. And
Yeah,
you
he's a really good dude, and if you have your own Jeep and you're looking to get into it, he's a great guide. His lines are usually geared more towards the teaching aspect of it. Not
skill
really.
level.
Yeah, the skill level and doing as much as possible to limit the possibility of any damage happening to your vehicle, especially if you daily drive it. So
He's someone I don't mind advertising for free, so I'm going to cut this clip and actually send this to him so he can post it on his website.
But you know, it's I think for us, I think we've more established ourselves as a group that like we truly are just going out to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's we're doing easy trails or we're doing some harder trails, you know, whether something breaks or doesn't, you know, we're at the end of the day, we're just going to have a good time regardless. And if one Jeep breaks down, then they'll just hop into another Jeep and
Well, the
ride
nice thing is
passenger.
that's how it started from the beginning with
Yeah.
all of us. We're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is fun. I like,
it's
I like
fun
the,
and
the
good
3
people.
or 4 of us.
Yeah.
Because there was other people in our group that were our age that we did not get along
Yeah,
with.
no. Yeah,
And we like I'm still friends with them on Facebook, and they're like, "Were you going wheeling?" I'm like, "Not anytime soon, man."
Yeah. And then one person, I can't remember who it was, but they described us as like the drug dealers and like, oh man, come.
That's a good thing
No,
to
no,
say.
no.
Wow.
Like the drug dealers of wheeling.
The drug you're going forward, and you need to.
But like
Coming from the guy, I didn't expect to say that. We don't deal drugs.
we don't.
We don't.
But off-roading and wheeling and Jeeps and stuff like that, it's a different type of addiction. And like you get, I'm trying to recover myself here, and it's not working. I'll just see you guys later. All right, I'm gonna see myself out. Okay, bye.
On that note, I think we're done. Check us out on social media at the Dirt Drive. We're not drug dealers, I promise. Check us out on social media.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Check us out on social media at the Dirt Drive. We're gonna get back together again next week and have some more stuff for you. But thanks for listening. We'll see.
See you next time, guys.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.